something absolutely crazy happened in a kitchen full of the toughest chefs in Korea. It wasn't an ingredient that made them gasp. It wasn't a fire. It wasn't a failed dish. It was a man. One man, Kim Seokjin, BTS's Jin. He walked in and it was as if the entire studio airshifted. Time slowed down. The knives stopped chopping. The tension dropped because right in front of them stood a person they described not as a guest, but as a sculpture. A living masterpiece. Chef Park Eun-young whispered, "He's really the best," like she couldn't believe her eyes. Chef Yoon Nam-no? His voice cracked when he said, "I want to live with Jin's face for 3 days." And no, he wasn't joking. On the popular JTBC show Please Take Care of My Refrigerator, Jin's appearance wasn't just a guest spot. It became an event, a moment where even cold-blooded chefs, trained to focus under pressure, melted. And this wasn't just admiration from afar. It turned into something more personal, more emotional. Edward Lee, a globally recognized star chef from America, admitted that he flew across the world just to meet Jin. And when Jin entered the studio, politely shaking hands with everyone, bowing, smiling, soft-spoken, it was over. Even chefs who'd seen celebrities before were visibly shaken. And when the team jokingly decided to vote for the most handsome face among them, there was no hesitation. Every single chef voted for Jin. Unanimous. Instant. MC Kim Sung-ju crowned him the most sculpted man chosen by cold-blooded chefs. And yet, true to his nature, only laughed humbly, as if he didn't know the power he held in just one smile. But it wasn't just about looks. The moment the chefs started presenting their dishes, Jin transformed from superstar to soulful gourmet. His expressions while tasting, soft, reflective, almost poetic. He wasn't just eating, he was connecting, feeling, appreciating. And when Chef Edward Lee presented a bold, creative raw fish soup made with watermelon and jelly, everyone held their breath. It won. But what happened next? Chef Edward Lee ripped off his chef's uniform, revealing a hidden shirt with Jin's concert merch. Jin's face printed across his chest. And in that small private moment when the microphones were off, he leaned in and said, "I'm a huge fan." Jin was shocked. His eyes widened, his voice trembled slightly as he laughed and said, "Wait, that's my concert shirt." It was more than admiration, it was devotion. And as if that weren't enough to prove his impact, Jin's presence has now gone beyond TV to world history. Let's rewind just a few days. In Anaheim, California, BTS's Jin held his first solo concerts in the US, and they didn't just sell out. They broke records. Every ticket at the massive Honda Center was gone within minutes. Not just the best seats, even the restricted view seats on the 8th floor were claimed by desperate fans who just wanted a glimpse. And what they saw was magic. Jin stepped on stage in a rare sleeveless outfit, radiating charisma, singing live with his sweet yet strong vocals. Fans described the moment he performed Nothing Without Your Love as something they'll never forget. His voice soaring, his eyes reflecting tears, his hands reaching out toward the fans who had waited so long to see him. People dressed in Jin-inspired costumes. They waved signs, they cried. For many, it wasn't just a concert, it was healing. And what makes this even more emotional? This isn't a massive 30-city tour like other global stars. Jin only had 8 shows in the US, and yet he sold over 100,000 tickets. He became the first Korean solo artist to sell out the Honda Center 2 nights in a row. He broke BTS's own record from the Wings tour, and every number, every seat, every cheer was earned not just through fame, but through heart. Fans weren't just screaming for an idol. They were celebrating a man who had been away, who came back stronger, softer, and somehow more beautiful than before. From Korea to Japan, where even Kyocera Dome's restricted view seats vanished in seconds. To America, where resellers couldn't keep up with the demand. To London, and Jin will soon become the first K-pop soloist to headline the legendary O2 Arena. Kim Seokjin isn't just a singer. He's a phenomenon, a walking contradiction, delicate yet powerful, humble yet iconic, funny yet deeply wise. And in the words of those chefs who met him that day, how can you be so handsome? Maybe it's not just the face. Maybe it's the kindness, the gratitude, the sincerity. Maybe that's what really makes Jin the most beautiful man in the world.